You were at a number of events. Did things change through the event? Something about music or the way things happened at YFR?
Yes, I think certainly the first one, there was hardly any music, relatively speaking, at it. It was community singing led by a couple from the front. Later ones then increasingly got the involvement of guitars and a group singing, perhaps 3 or 4 in a group-led singing, and also the band, so the drums appeared on the stage and the bass guitars, and I'm not into music, but all the different, the cymbals and things, they all came in later, and it was a lot more. It was a lot more like what we would know today as a modern praise band, but we're nearly 30 years later, so that's all moved on. In every church community, they've now got their own style of the music. So definitely, music came more to the fore, and we got better at singing along and being led by music and musicians, etc.
So one of the things that stands up to me in some of the more recent YFRs is the remembrance. It's the biggest remembrance you'll ever be at, usually. I wondered if that was the case in the first one. Was it a big remembrance, or was that a new thing at that time?
Yes, I think they met, the very first one, they met on the Thursday afternoon and stayed there till the Monday. The highlight for a lot of people would have been the remembrance, because we've all come from churches with maybe anything from 5 to 50 people in. We suddenly have 200-300 people, and a number of people visited just for the Sunday event itself. So the remembrance, absolutely packed out the main hall. Probably from memory, around 300 would be there, maybe more. And that was all one big, massive remembrance. Some people were saying, it's a taste of heaven. This is what it's going to be like in heaven. I think heaven's going to be far better than that. But it definitely was a very unusual remembrance. We had to organise, how many plates of bread would be delivered. It's like the giving out of the feeding of the 5,000. So the plates and the cups all had to be. It had to be synchronised properly, and that was. I do recall comments afterwards that it being special. For me, there was the two sides of it. Having so many people there was just fantastic, and everybody's Thanksgiving was short. It wasn't a big, long 10-20-minute prayer. It was short prayers, lots of young people standing up and almost tripping over each other. And some did feel it was a little bit indecent. If it was spirit led, how could this be? But they were tripping over each other. 2 or 3 people would get up at once, and you would be almost fighting to get in to give your worship. And after that, I think later events, certainly at Kinmel, they decided they would split the remembrance into 2. And so they would have the one in the big hall and one in a smaller hall. So it might be maybe 200 in one and then 75 or 100 in the other, and people could choose which one they wanted to go to. So that evolved as well. Later years, we had the same sort of thing in Nottingham, where there would be 2 remembrances, one in a bigger hall and one in a smaller hall, giving people the choice if they wanted to have a slightly more traditional, still big, but more traditional service, and the other one, a bigger, more arguably exciting event from a human point of view. Of course, we don't know what God thought of it all, but from a human point of view, it was definitely quite a highlight.
It's an interesting use of companies in the same location.
I that was quite groundbreaking. We had to discuss. I know in later ones that I was involved with, we had to get it past the hierarchy that you could have 2 remembrances in one location, and I guess. Arguably, this was part of the argument. Well, isn't that what they did in Jerusalem? They had 3,000 there. How do we think they met? And when you get your head out of the kind of straight lines that maybe you've been born and bred to understand and accept as the norm, well, it was a celebration which was they brought the local Church of God closed down and started half an hour later in Kinmel. So that's how they created that environment there. So they stayed within the guidelines they felt, and that's how they handled it.